Alexander. All those in favor, or do we need any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the November 18th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nothing. All right. Public comments. Commissioners, we have, well, first of all, commissioners, do you have any comments?
No.
Anyone? Well, I'd love to welcome everybody here today. Thank you for coming out and showing your involvement for the community. And now it's time for the, I now would like to open up the period for public comments. Please reserve your comments related to a specific agenda item when I call it for comments on that specific agenda item. Comments to the Planning Commission should be limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker. Groups wishing to address an issue should select 1 or 2 spokespersons, and the time allowed for all issues shall not exceed 10 minutes. Issues raised at the time are generally referred to the Secretary for review, and responses will be provided at a later date. Please be respectful of the presenters. If you are pro or for it, please be respectful for one another. That's why we're in this community all together. And please also, when you address everyone, address the speaker, or excuse me, and the staff if you have commission or staff directed questions or comments. Please do not address the applicants if you have any comments for that. All right. I now make a motion to open the public comment period. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Commissioner O'Rear, second. All those in favor of opening the public comment section, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, open up the public comment section. For general comments.
Everyone who's signed up for this for a agenda item. Okay.
All right. You know we did.
What are we taking comments about?
No, sir, so this was just an open discussion, but if you were wanted to talk about a particular case or particular something that's on the agenda that was posted, then we'll do that at
At the time of the case, right. This is just for the community comments in general. All right. I now make a motion to close the public comment section. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second by Commissioner Atkins. All those in favor of closing the public comment section, please say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0. All right, our first item of old business is as follows. Rezoning request RZR 2025 10-1665, a request to rezone the property located at 2585 Brazelton Highway, Gwinnett County tax parcel 3001 040 from R100 single family residence district to R60 single family residence district for the development of a 33 lot single family subdivision. Staff, I'll now ask you to present the staff analysis and recommendations.
Thank you. Good to be here tonight, Chairman and District Commissioners. This item, as you stated, is a rezoning request from R100 to R60 for a 33 lot subdivision. This item was postponed at the last Planning Commission meeting, which was on no change time that I received, but you're looking at like I missed something. I did include the additional items we received at the Planning Commission meeting or right prior to it in your application packet for your review. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions you may have. I can go into more detail, but since you all heard it last meeting, I was going to try to save some time for the applicant's presentation.
Okay.
So there's no new documents in the packet, they're the same as last time.
Hearing no questions,
You can, I can answer questions during the discussion period.
okay. And at this point, we're going to open it up to
The,
the applicant.
to the public hearing
public.
where the applicant will do their,
Passes 4-0.
Yes, yes.
to invite the applicant.
Alright, and we've got a PowerPoint too that I've pre-sent. Yeah, that's it right there. Thank you so much for doing that. Alright, well, I guess I'll just get going. Well, good evening. My name is Jack Ryan. It's great to be here with you guys tonight. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and she is here. Her name is Meredith Sims, who you might remember from the last time we were here. Because we have been here before, I'm going to try and keep it on a high level, kind of give you a recap of what happened and what we did since coming here back in November. So try to keep it for you all back in December, or back in November. And during the hearing, we've already mentioned this, but we decided to request that it be tabled. It will be tabled to hear and address some of the public comments and concerns that were brought up for the first time before you. And so that's what we did. We met with the neighbors on 2 different occasions. The first was December 3rd of 2025. We met at Hamilton Mill Church right down the road here. And we really, what we labeled as was a public participation meeting. Obviously, it's not required by the city of Mulberry, but we thought it was necessary. And our goal was to kind of just give the space to share their hearts with us and what their concerns were. And so we did that, and then 5 days later, we actually did a developer-led walkthrough of the site. So we went through the entire proposed development plan. We tried to visualize with the neighbors what was happening, address any concerns, while we're walking around. And so we did that. We felt very encouraged by that. And so after that point, we went to work. We actually updated the site plan, which I think is maybe the third. That's the property to jog your memory
Mr.
that
Chair,
we're looking
I'd
at.
like to take just a second for a pause, because
Yeah.
everybody who's in the back can't see this screen that's
Okay.
only on the
Yeah, no
presentation.
worries.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is go ahead and pull up that presentation so I can follow along and show everyone.
Sure. Yes, thank you,
So if
Jamie.
you could just give me 2 minutes.
Everybody got any jokes?
That's fine. I mean, I say jokes on the record all the time. I hadn't even turned the thing on.
We tried to, anyway. We tried to, anyway.
I just want to once again thank my staff, because they're a lot smarter than me. So I usually have to set this up. So I take full flight.
Seconds, I said you messed up.
Thank you. Like, continue.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the revised site plan that we went to work with based on the neighbors' comments, and really the big adjustments that we you'll see in here. It's really small, but I apologize for that. But we've got the 33 unit cap which we brought up initially. What we've done since then is we've added a 10-foot landscape buffer all around the property. You can see that's like a really thin rectangle. And then we also decreased a lot of the pavement. And so that's kind of what we've done. And the reason, I kind of want to get ahead of it, and just the reason why we are keeping the 33 units is really because of this piece of property. It's very unique. It has extremely steep topography. I mean, we can ask the neighbors that walked with us. It's got wetlands on it. So, from, not that this is your problem at all, this is our problem, but from a deal perspective, this is 33 units is what will make this work, just given the size and the shape and everything else that's going on. And as you guys know, the cap for the density is 4. We're much lower than that at 33 units. So that's kind of one part of it. And the other part, we heard a lot of the neighbors' concerns. And one thing, we want to keep the 33 units. So what we put our heads together and we came up with some proposed zoning conditions for our property. And these would go, these are obviously not required. This is something that we are proposing. And so this is a list of them on the screen here, and I'll just kind of run through them. But the goal of this is to alleviate some of the concerns from the neighbors about the unknown. So we're trying to make it known what we're trying to do. So the first one, essentially we're asking for a zoning condition of a minimum heated floor area of 2,600 square feet. This is totally in line with the surrounding developments. That's the first one. The second one is the front facade, kind of what it's going to look like. And we are proposing that not less than 50% of the front facade surface area will be either brick or stone. And with that, you'll get a minimum height of 2 feet with a water table that will match. So that's the second one. Third one is a mandatory homeowners association responsible for everything in the neighborhood. And then the last but not least, and you know, we can save some applause if it comes, but you know, we are asking that a 0% rental be in this community. The cap is 10%. We're asking for 0. We think that fits the Mulberry, you know, MO. We think that it would be a great addition to the development. So on any rentals, those are our proposed conditions. These are going to be super nice homes. I've got pictures of them on there if somebody can. Yep. So this is actually called Hush Reserve. It's the same exact builder that we have. These are in the city of Mulberry. If anybody, you know, the neighbors or commissioners want to drive by and see it, these are actual homes that are being built. And this probably would give a really good idea of what we are trying to do with our development. So they're nice homes. You know, our builder builds nice homes. They are not going to come in here and this is, you know, they're in the $700,000, $800,000 range. This neighborhood. This is just an idea of what we're trying to do. And so, you know, kind of with all of that, you know, we think that the development is compatible with the surrounding uses. It's specifically the R60 is encouraged by the comprehensive plan and thought about already. And we have some revised, and so this is the zoning map. We can talk about this if some questions come up, but the next one is our revised conditions. So staff, you know, they put a lot of thought into this. They came up with some conditions for our property. We're good with all of them. We just have a couple minor tweaks, one being the 33 units. We want to keep that density. Again, the cap is 4. We're trying to do 2.28. And just to put in perspective, the neighborhoods that are adjacent to ours, 2.28 and 2.26. So we're right around the same density as all the other neighborhoods that are right by us. We're cool. We're totally fine with the 10-foot landscape buffer. That's what we did to our site plan. And then the traffic analysis, the only thing we would ask is that it be subject to GDOT approval because they have the final say. So that I think that's just a logical condition, but I'm sure I'll get questions on rebuttal about the traffic and about stormwater, and I'm happy to address that, but I want to save my time. So with that, we respectfully request approval with the applicant's revised conditions, and I'll reserve the remainder of my time.
The revised conditions have not been updated in our packet.
No, that is correct.
We can keep these up on the screen though, so then that way y'all.
Yeah, it's a lot. I know. I didn't read through them all.
So I'm just trying to, can you go back to the site plan real quick? And point out to me, not that one, that one. What differences did you material in what you made from the original site plan that we have a copy of?
Yeah, and Jacob is here. He's our engineer. He is more than welcome to jump in case I miss something. And this is, you know, obviously he is the expert on this. But the 10-foot, okay, so the 10-foot landscape buffer, which is, let me see if I can show you. It's on it goes all the way around, and the goal of that was to alleviate some of the concerns. You know, and this is staff's idea. We can't take credit for this, but the idea is to provide a buffer, you know, kind of a privacy screen from the existing developments. That was the whole goal. So we just kind of reflected that. We agreed with it. We thought it was a great condition. And then Jacob, you might have a better idea, but we reduced the impervious surfaces because how we had initially on it, I think we had initially way back had thought of doing townhomes. Obviously, we're not doing that. We've made a huge change from then a long time ago. But what Jacob did is he reduced the amount of pavement, and you know, hopefully that would help with any kind of stormwater concerns. And so
Not to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
when you say reduce impervious surfaces, did you shrink the width of the streets?
I'll let Jacob talk here. He's the expert. But yes, essentially yes.
James Solons with Solons Engineering at 26 East Athens Street, and the original site plan is probably in your packet right now. It has 2 eyebrows at the front. What we essentially did is just remove the second eyebrow and curved the road, and in turn it saved like 50 or 60 foot of pavement, like by 20.
Rather than making it like a semi-cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that's right. So reduce that, so you know, or reduce the overall impervious area. Another thing I think, not sure if it was fully mentioned, but the 10-foot landscape landscape strip that's surrounding it is all HOA property, which was part of the conditions. So that's the actual property lines of the rear of every house hits that 10-foot buffer. So if there's any like maintenance concerns or anything on the border of the entire property, it's the HOA maintenance rather than having to deal with the individual property owners if an issue were to arise. So I think that helps just clean things up in terms of future planning. But
So, other than removing our cul-de-sac,
I just wanna make a clarification and distinction, because either need to go ahead and move it to discussion and ask the questions of the applicant. Or
Okay.
go ahead and do that, right?
Okay.
So then that way I just need you to officially do that. So
Okay.
if they have any time to rebuttal, then that time is, he asked for time to rebuttal, so I wanna make sure at least acknowledge that before we
Right.
continue to run the clock.
Okay, no, I totally get that. So,
You can
We
move
can
it to
see if
discussion.
anybody else is here in support of the application.
right,
Or
and
if
that was
not,
what my
you can
next
move
one.
into discussion.
Yeah, so I now need to see if anyone is here from the general public that's in favor of the amendment. All right, so make your way to the podium. All right. Now I'm here from all those in opposition of the amendment. If you would make your way to the podium, one at a time.
Visuals, old school. So I attempted to set up the,
There's a easel
You
over
can
here.
use the easel there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, please.
okay,
absolutely.
all right. Okay, my name's Darlene Wilkerson, 1890 Oakwind Lane, Beaufort, Georgia, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. And we were told, or our community was told, that there were no changes to the site plan. So some of what I'm saying here, I tried to strike it, that if it didn't apply, but I might have something that still has been changed. Spot zoning is defined as the reclassification of a specific parcel of or small area of land when zoning differs significantly from those of surrounding properties. This typically benefits a private owner, allowing a use inconsistent with the established character of the uniformly zoned area. The defining characteristic is the unjustified exception it creates for a particular property owner, potentially to the detriment of adjacent properties or the overall community plan. How could this be called anything but spot zoning? Rezoning this 14-acre parcel that sits between estate lots and two subdivisions, all zoned R100, and plopping an R60 subdivision in the middle is the definition of spot zoning. We would lose valuable green space that currently functions as an important water delivery system for runoff for the paved areas already surrounding it. The site plan, which your planning department explained to me as a concept plan, meaning that since this purchase is contingent on the rezoning, it could end up being quite different from the site plan on the screen. This concept plan used to show 6 lots in the wetlands. I can't tell from now if there's still any lots in the wetlands. This gulch carries water when it rains. Heavy rain leaves water standing on the property. Why should we not worry about flooding in this gulch? How can we knowingly put the new homeowners' lives and property at risk and expose current homeowners to flooding risk by building in this gulch? Some nearby homeowners walked the property with the developer, engineers, and lawyers last week. We were told that the flooding risk would be mitigated by the detention pond and the installation of sod that would replace a lot of woods. We were told that sod absorbs more water than trees do. While it's true that sod absorbs surface water, it would do nothing to hold that hillside in place as the trees do now. Trees absorb up to 150 gallons of water a day. Sounds more efficient than sod. Who will maintain the maintenance of the detention pond if the 33-member HOA can't sustain this expense? Depending on the size and location, it costs about $20,000 to $60,000 every 5 years to maintain a detention pond. Since the city of Mulberry is soon to be responsible, these are costs the city would be responsible for if the HOA can't sustain these maintenance costs. According to the city of Mulberry's comprehensive plan, this area is designed as suburban transition. Development is expected to reflect a suburban scale, but with enhanced landscaping, larger lot sizes, and design standards that ensure compatibility with adjacent rural zones. Under intent and vision, the comprehensive plan advises avoiding abrupt changes in density. Under development characteristics, it recommends lot sizes of half an acre to an acre. It then incorrectly states that R60 and R75 would accommodate these dimensions. This rezoning request accomplishes none of these goals. It does the opposite. Such a rezoning would result in higher density and lot sizes that measure in square footage rather than acreage. And I don't know, I was hoping that the camera might be able to hit these things so that the audience could see these a little better. But traffic safety is the next topic. The intersection of highways 124 and 324 is a primary intersection and a poorly designed, overburdened, and dangerous one. According to the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office, in 2024, there were 176 accidents there, and this year through November 1, there have been 104 accidents. Most traffic engineers now estimate 2 cars per household, taking 10 car trips per day. By this estimate, the development would add 660 car trips per day within 1/10 of a mile of that intersection. It's 1/10 of a mile from this property to the dangerous intersection. That's 528 feet. Right now, there are 3 high-volume ingress and egress on Brazelton Highway from the intersection. Here's the intersection. Right now, there's Oakwind, Walgreens, the church, and the car wash, and this would add a 4th within 528 feet from that intersection. There would be no safe, even if you do a right in, right out to this development, there would be no safe place to make a U-turn. To go south onto Brazelton Highway, residents of this development would have to turn around in another landlocked subdivision or in a commercial parking lot.
I need to at least acknowledge that there have been 5 minutes, there's only 10 minutes total, so we will either run up against this or we need to, have somebody else speak, but you can continue.
I have about 1 more minute. Is this smart growth? Adding an already overburdened intersection, replacing a single R100 residence with 33 R60 residences? If you're not familiar with this intersection, please drive it. Decide for yourself whether it can handle another 660 car trips a day, 528 feet from an already dangerous intersection. The property sale is contingent on the developer obtaining a rezoning classification that will make them the most money on their investment. They claim that it doesn't have a reasonable economic use as currently zoned. Is that because the current owner couldn't monetize the property? The current owners bought the property in April 2018 for $600,000. They knew in 2018 they were buying a house in a residential area zoned R100, which included a gorge and wetlands. They knew they weren't buying commercial property, but they proceeded to run an unlicensed logging business anyway. According to an April 22 Gwinnett County enforcement report, commercial vehicles and equipment were located at the residence. In July of 22, when the county closed their unlicensed business, the property was listed for sale for $1.49 million. It's been on and off market since, and now this. The applicant cites the Georgia and U.S. constitutions as proof that they are entitled to this rezoning, arguing that a no vote would be, quote, arbitrary and capricious. They're asking you to say yes to building an R60 subdivision in the middle of existing R100 homes in a gorge with wetlands that divert water to nearby creeks, with no details provided on what this housing would be until just now. I don't have to tell y'all how important this decision is. You're setting the stage for how Mulberry will develop. You will set precedent. Once you say yes to something like this, you will have no legal standing to say no to similar rezoning projects. When the city was being formed, there was a lot of talk about responsible growth, transparency, and looking at the big picture. If you want to redevelop the estate lots on Brazelton to higher density, buy them all. Add the 19 acres at the corner, redevelop the entire corner into one cohesive plan instead of piecemeal development with a mishmash of zoning classifications. A no vote seems in order and reasonable, not arbitrary or capricious. Please do the right thing. achieve the goals set out when you formed Mulberry, and vote no.
How much time do we have, Jamie?
On those
2 minutes and
accidents.
30 seconds.
We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. If there's anybody else in opposition?
We need to look down the list and just make sure that, is anybody,
Steve Hughes,
were you for this case or the next case?
I was, but I didn't realize there was a sign-in sheet.
No, we just need, I'm not stopping you from speaking. I just wanna make sure that if anybody has signed up, but if no one has signed up for this
we don't
case,
know what cases they are.
yeah, so
Just
let's
because
just.
this was supposed to be a sign-in sheet, like when they were
Perfect.
up there speaking, not order of.
So let's do this, right? Can you please give your name and address for the record, and then once you're done, then we can just have you sign it here.
Hugh Moore, 1850 Oakland Lane, Beaufort, Georgia 30519. Thank you for your time, for seeing us all. I have a creek going in my backyard, which is neighboring this lot. I spoke with the previous homeowner. 26 years ago, it wasn't as big as it is now. I fear it's gonna get bigger. I looked at the GIS, there's an 82-foot drop in spot elevations from Brasselton Highway down to the cul-de-sac. The creek goes across over to between two of my neighbors. There's a little area where the water collects there. So I have these concerns about the water runoff. As far as traffic goes, I've seen cars run around the center posts to get to the center turn lane. At the intersection, cars drive around the center posts to get to the turn lane. They block the box in front of the Oakland subdivision. There are cars coming out of Walgreens, cars doing U-turns around Walgreens if they can't make it to the Auburn Road. I fear if people get a nice house in this new lot, they're just gonna fight with traffic. How bad the traffic is. There's the Hamilton Mill Church as well. And I've seen a USPS truck get wrecked in front of Oakland coming home. And then I think when we were at the community meeting as well, I was told maybe there were 300,000 cars that go through Brasselton Highway. And this would be arguably a drop in the bucket, but this bucket is already full to the brim. We don't need any more drops to make this bucket overflow. And so, that's all the concerns that I have today. Thank you.
26 seconds left.
26 seconds.
26 seconds. Speed read or speed talk? No? Okay. Is there anybody else in opposition? All right. Hearing none, make a motion to close the public comment period. Can I get a second?
Do we want rebuttal?
Oh, do we want to rebuttal at this point? Is that-
He
That'd be
reserves.
great.
some
Yeah,
time.
It's
okay.
2.5
Okay,
minutes reserved.
come on,
I'll
Lear.
defer to you.
I jumped the gun on this one, so sorry.
I'm happy to do that. Okay, well, I know I got short on time, and that was a lot, so I will do my best here. I think the biggest one, I'll quickly address this because I don't think it's an issue, but the spot zoning. The board that was shown, I think it was a little bit misleading in what is being shown to you all about spot zoning, and I'm sure y'all are very familiar with spot zoning, but there was a big definition read. The problem with it is that we're forgetting the part that it says, it is not, and this is from the Illustrated Book of Development, which governs all the definitions. This is for spot zoning. It says, it is not spot zoning if it is enacted in accordance with the comprehensive plan. We've got tons of case law, cite one, Eastlands, Inc. versus Floyd County et al. And this is a quote, it has been stated or recognized that there is no spot zoning using the terms as a label of invalidity when a zoning ordinance gives a different classification to a small area than to the surrounding areas in accordance with a comprehensive plan designed to promote the general welfare. I think this is obvious, but this R60 is obviously contemplated by the comprehensive plan. It's not even contemplated, it's encouraged. So I'm gonna, I think that one is pretty easy to deal with. The abrupt changes in density. I've got all kinds of density data here, but the long story short is this is not an abrupt change in density at all. And I'm trying to find where I've got it here, but
this is, I mean, every neighborhood, I got too many pieces of paper here. I cannot remember where I put this.
Yeah, 1 minute.
But, okay, but Mill Creek Preserve, 2.28, Marlowe Estates, 2.26. I mean, these are adjacent neighborhoods, neighboring neighborhoods, that are the same density. So there's no abruptness there. In terms of this traffic safety and the flooding risk, I mean, we're totally empathetic to this. We understand completely. This is, in terms of both of them, this is a city of Mulberry for flooding. We're gonna come in, put a big stormwater management, facility in, and the goal and the requirements from the city are that it's net zero, that we cannot create more runoff than what it is currently. And so there's a lot of comments, I'm not gonna throw anybody on the bus, but one person who lives there that complains of runoff, they actually built their house in the floodplain and have a ton of erosion, so it's totally separate from what we're doing. In terms of traffic, I mean, there's 33,000 trips per day on Auburn Road, 15,800 trips per day on Brazelton Highway. This is a 33 unit development, we totally get it, but that's subject to GDOT. They're gonna decide the intersection. And that's all I have to say. I know that was a lot, so sorry about that.
Thank you. All right. Now I will make a motion to close the public comment period. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Alexander, you have a second? All those in favor of closing the public comment period, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The public comment period is now closed. And now we'll open a period for discussion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner O'Rear. All those in favor of opening the discussion section, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 4-0. The second was Commissioner Atkins. All right, discussion. And this can be as well as amongst ourselves if we have any further questions.
With staff.
You can discuss it with staff and ask for clarification, but this is, just between you all primarily.
Right.
And then, this is for the public to listen as you discuss.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't get to ask my question to the engineer over there earlier about the impervious area. I know you removed you removed that, but I thought there was mention also of narrowing the streets, and I do have concerns about that, because if you drive in any subdivision in Gwinnett County, some of them are very narrow, and as close as they're building these things, you can't even park one car outside your garage, and then you go to the street, and so you're zigzagging down the street. So I do have concerns if that was narrowed, what is that narrowed width? And, we're looking at it like that. I mean, that's some concerns from mine.
So just to clarify, the street width will have to be compliant with the Unified Development Code and those requirements there, so it won't be able to be narrower than what is required.
Right.
And International Fire Code requires that there's a minimum
Right.
of 20 feet in order to get a fire truck down, so it won't be any less than 20 feet.
Right, okay.
So,
I think with the updated site plan, just part of it is not having the ability to review it ahead of time.
Right.
So just trying to be able to digest those changes and really understand what we're looking at is part of the concern that I have.
Try to speak up if we can.
Yeah.
Some of the complaining.
I share that same concern, is just not being able to look at it longer than 10 minutes and discuss it in brief, because it seems like there's a fair amount of additions that have been made, just with the community. So.
Part of my concern is, so staff, you can probably answer this as far as, we're still talking about the same density we were before, and one of the comments that I asked last time was that at this density, it's not an or, I think it's like, what is the requirements for the zoning? What's the?
R60.
So the R60, the minimum lot size is, I believe, 8,500 square feet with a maximum density of 4 dwelling acre.
Okay.
Staff recommended a maximum density of 2 dwelling units per acre, so it's consistent with the suburban transition comprehensive future land use area.
But it still doesn't meet this still doesn't meet the lot size.
It meets the minimum lot size of 8,500.
8,500.
Yes.
Because that was not the updated version.
That's correct. This was
This was
submitted
in-
prior to the
submitted prior to.
changes.
I see.
So it's considered under
Yeah.
the previous ordinance.
Right, so the 85, is the prior
Correct.
R60, not the current.
And I do wanna clarify more so for the public than when we did our comprehensive plan and started our rezoning process in July of this year under the Mulberry code, anything that was filed before still fell under the Gwinnett code. It just had to wait for the rezoning process to begin. So that's kind of where the difference in between the R60 from the text amendments and everything else is coming in.
Right.
So that's the difference, is we have our code, but there is some entitlement as far as when the, and that's where they fall under with this lot width.
Do you know the date on when that text amendment to change was specifically?
Not
I
off
believe
the
it
top of my
was
head.
I think,
October 18th, as it was mid to end of
Something
October
like that.
and this was submitted
prior to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
October the 8th.
So it still goes over is on the 8,500.
Yes, that's correct.
But the comprehensive plans,
Two dwelling units per acre.
Right.
And so that, it doesn't necessarily just mean a half acre lot. It can be a net density or a gross density where you take into consideration the open space.
Do we have any more?
I think I tend to agree with you. My biggest issue is that we haven't reviewed this.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we need some more time to discuss. So I'm going to make a motion to table this application for further review from the planning commission so that we can just get our arms around it.
Will you state the specific meeting? Is it the next planning commission meeting, which is January 20th?
There's a little.
When is- Okay. Is it right here? Okay. Yeah, I move to postpone or table RZR 2025-10-1665 to the January 20th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have Commissioner Atkins as a second. All those in favor of tabling this application to the January meeting, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, so we'll be tabled until next week. All right, now, we'll be moving on to rezoning request, RZR 2025, 10-1676, request to rezone the property located at 4975 Brazelton Highway and 1750 Thomas Drive. Gwinnett County tax parcels 3004-010 and 3004-027 from R100 Single Family Residential District to OSC Open Space Conservation District for the development of a 105 lot single family subdivision. The applicant is also requesting concurrent variances to reduce the minimum lot width, to increase the garage door percentage to the street requirements, to disturb the steep slopes, and to the HOA requirement. Staff, I will now ask you to present your staff analysis and recommendations.
Can I ask a question first? Of you guys?
No, we can't
we're in the
direct any
middle of-
questions.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the business.
I understand that, and that's you're in charge of it?
I'm in charge of the meeting right now.
Well, I don't understand what it means going from a R100 to open space conservation district.
That will be part of my.
That'll be part of the presentation.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So, as you stated, Chair, this is a request to rezone the property from 100 to an open space conservation subdivision district, the 105 lot subdivision. As you stated, there were multiple concurrent variances as part of this request. I'll give a very quick high-level summary since there were some questions. The proposed overall density is 2.5 dwelling units per acre, and that includes 16.58 acres of open space, which exceeds the minimum requirements of 40% for the open space conservation developments. Of that, 11.71 acres is usable open space, which exceeds the minimum requirement for OCS. There are 3 different proposed lots types within the development. One is a 40-foot wide lot, which is 56 units or 53% of the development. A 50-foot wide lot, 29 lots or 37% of the development. 50-foot wide lot, which is 20 lots and 19.1% of development. They've provided minimum house sizes by lot width. For the 40-foot lot, it would be an 1,800 square foot heated floor area, 2,000 for the 50-foot lots, and 2,200 for the 60-foot lots. The minimum lot size for an open space conservation subdivision is 5,000 square feet, and the max density is 2.5 dwelling units per acre, and a minimum lot width of 50 feet. This was also tabled at the last Planning Commission meeting on October 16th or 18th, November 18th, which is why it is here before you tonight.
Were there any additions to?
The only additions were included in your packet, which is the addition of a color rendering for the proposed site layout, supplemental representative elevations in addition to what was already submitted, and then the originally approved site plan for the Kensington subdivision. And those materials were included in the back of your packet as, with a note that they were additional provided by that.
Thank you. All right.
Gene, we'll get that on that screen.
Yes, sir.
We're
I'm working on it right now.
We're working on it. And now,
I'll pull it up right now.
all right, and now we'll make a motion to open the public comment period. Do I have a second? I got a second by Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor of opening the public comment section, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, I'll now hear from those in favor of the amendment. The applicant, proceed.
Folks, get our board. Can't see that at all. Is that better? You did call for the applicant, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, folks. My name is Brandon Webb. I'm with Chafin Communities. My address is 5230 Belwood Court, Beaufort, Georgia. I'd like to start with sort of a recap of this community and zoning proposal. This is Kensington Trace. The map you're looking at is the original layout for this community. It's made up of phase 1 consisting of 71 lots, and those lots are constructed and on the ground today. And phase 2 is made up of undeveloped / partially developed lots. The 69 lots there more to the right past this creek crossing here. And that's the general area we're talking about here today. So again, I think staff touched on it. We're talking about moving from the original 69 lot count to 105 lots, thus adding 36 lots to the overall lot count of this phase. Just want to move to the color rendering board. So that was the original plan. This is our proposed plan. I think you have this in your packet. And so this is the same plan that we talked about last time. I'll just touch on some of the differences from the original plan. You'll see all the green space around the community. By condensing the site, we were able to add that green space, buffers, and so forth in the community. I'll touch on the variance request. Number one, the minimum lot width. We would renew our request to reduce the minimum lot width to 40 feet. This will allow a mix of lot sizes and product offerings. As we discussed during our last meeting, the lot width mix is necessary in order to create a financially viable community. The second variance, the garage door percentage. We are requesting that the garage door percentage be increased from 40% as outlined in our zoning application. I think the example that I used last time is that if you have a 50-foot wide lot and you have a 16-foot wide garage door with 5-foot setbacks on either side, the best you're going to do with those parameters is 42%. And so if you look at that through different lot widths, that the same logic applies. And so we think it's necessary, that variance is necessary in order to build attractive and marketable homes. Now, the next variance is numbers 3, 4, and 5 having to do with grading and steep slopes, the additional street connectivity, and subjecting the property to a property owners association. We agree with staff comments there, and we discussed that last time. I won't take the board's time to sort of rehash that. If you have questions later, I'd be glad to answer those. So let's talk about traffic. At our last meeting, we talked a little about traffic. We touched on it, and I want to touch on it again. So in your packet, you should have a level 1 traffic study. This is just sort of a blow up from that study. And again, I want to reiterate, we're talking about adding 36 lots to what's currently zoned, right? And so if you look at the bottom line item there, the differences, you're talking about 26 additional trips during peak hour, right, in AM, and 34 additional trips in PM. And that's both in and out, right? So while there is a slight increase, we believe that's negligible, right? Especially in order to make this community work. So I just wanted to touch on that. There's a lot of discussion over that next time or last time. I know we're really not here to talk about traffic. We're here to talk about land use. But because there were so many questions on it, I did want to touch on it. At the last meeting, we also talked about the existing Kensington HOA and how approving our proposed plan, the color rendering version of the plan, will benefit the 71 existing homeowners by lowering their HOA dues. And we talked about that in detail last time. Now, what happens if phase 2 isn't developed? We would expect the HOA dues for those 71 folks to then increase. Now, there was some discussion at the last meeting or inference that maybe there was mismanagement of the HOA dues, and the example was given, I think it was Trilogy, that, hey, they have 330 lots and their HOA dues are $850, so we should be able to make this work. I just did some quick math. So at 330 lots at $850 a month, that would produce roughly $280,000 in HOA revenue. Now compare that to phase 1 of Kensington today at 71 lots with $1,350 HOA dues. They're producing about $95,000 HOA revenue. That's about a third, roughly a third. And the amenities are pretty comparable. They each have a pool, they have a pool house. They each have sports courts or tennis courts. They each have 2 entrances. They each have common areas and mail kiosk areas. So any differences, they each have ponds to maintain and common areas. So you're talking about a community that's struggling for years to meet its financial obligations. Why? They just don't have enough revenue. They have 2 choices. They either increase their dues way above market or we add lots. We believe adding lots is the best scenario for those folks. So I wanted to touch on that because, you know, it was brought up at the last meeting. The last thing I want to talk about is land use. we have that land use map? Yeah, let's do that one first. So, this came up at the last meeting, and Victor sort of highlighted this neighborhood, in red, our neighborhood. We believe this was an oversight in the land use for the new city here. This is our community. The land use map cuts this in half with the land use designations, right? And so let's look at that. You can see the overall here, how that's working. Let's look at the blow up. So this is the board we looked at a minute ago. So that line is coming right through the community, bisecting phase 1 and phase 2, right? We don't think that was intentional. We think it was, just it's something that happens during that process. Now, why is that important? I think with the improper classification of Kensington Phase 2, it makes it appear that our zoning application is somehow significant from the surrounding area. When in reality, the opposite of that is true. If the land use map correctly included the entire community into that designated area, and by the way, that's traditional plus, then the proposed site plan could then better meet those requirements. In the City of Mulberry Comprehensive Plan Update Exhibit A, traditional plus includes existing single-family subdivisions and adjacent areas. And I would submit that this is not an adjacent area. This is part of the neighborhood. It's part of the HOA, has been for years. It's part of the original development plan, so thus should have been included in that designation.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Thank you. We request that the board correct the error in the land use map and approve the zoning application as submitted, which is consistent with the requirements of the traditional plus designation. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to reserve the balance. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else in favor of the no? Would like to speak?
If folks have any questions.
Is it time now?
Wait
It's
for
not
just a
time.
second.
Is there anybody else in favor? All right, hearing none, there's nobody else in favor, I'll now ask it. Say again?
Anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed? Please make your way to the podium. Another thing. You have 10 minutes total with anybody, so please be respectful if you can.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Stand up, speak up, and shut up. I appreciate being here tonight. My name is Steve Hughes. I live at 413 Four Seasons Court in Tequila, and I have lived there for the past 36 years. Before the May 21st, 2024 referendum vote to form the City of Mulberry, there was a promise made to the citizens. It was a simple promise made by our leaders in the Georgia General Assembly, State Senator Clint Dixon and House Majority Leader Chuck Abstration. They told us the city was being created because Gwinnett County had become irresponsible by approving residential and commercial development that places a burden on our roads, infrastructure, and schools that they were not designed to handle. In town hall meeting after town hall meeting, the promise was the same. Mulberry would not rubber stamp every rezoning request of the development community. Mulberry will not allow traffic, infrastructure, and school overcrowding just to accommodate developers. We were promised that Mulberry would not carry on the same development practices as Gwinnett. Mulberry would be different. It would be much better. You have before you tonight this rezoning request made by Clayton Properties doing business as Chafin Development. This rezoning seeks a change in the phase 2 of the Kensington Trace subdivision from its current zoning of R100 to OSC. The OSC will allow for 105 new homes to be constructed. These 105 new homes will bring an additional of 1,050 average daily trips to a area that it already has a failed intersection, and that is Mount Moriah Road and Highway 124. I'll get it here in a minute. That's what happens. I apologize. Some here tonight may know, but others may not. On the Clint Dixon for Senate webpage of his campaign, list his occupation as being acquisition manager of Chafin Homes. This is the same organization, I believe, that is seeking the rezoning here tonight. It seems deeply ironic to me that this request is coming from an organization that employs the man who promised voters that rezoning done in the city of Mulberry would not create the same problems as rezoning done in Gwinnett County. I urge the member of the Planning Commission to keep the promise made to the voters during the referendum on the city. Please recommend denial this application until such times as our roads and infrastructures and schools can support. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for opportunity to speak. My name is Andre. I'm my address is 1365 Highland Wood Court, Auburn, Georgia. I'm a resident of this neighborhood. I'm a second house from the proposed new phase. Here's where you can see the big lot. That's my neighbor, and I'm the second house. This is a very beautiful neighborhood with spacious lots, big houses. We have two small ranches that are just under 2,500 square feet. Rest of the houses, at least 3,000, on average 3,500 square feet. My house is 4,164 square feet plus the basement. Half of the houses at least in the neighborhood go with the basement. The lots are excluding the sidewalk and the public right away, like at least 0.34 of an acre to an acre. So, and from my house to the top of the neighborhood, half an acre. I mean, half a mile. And I just measured my house before coming here. My house, 54.5 feet from corner to corner. The house, the roof is about 58 feet. They're trying to make their lot's gonna be smaller than my house. This is unacceptable. Ideally, we would like about maybe 35, 50, 70, in a better case, homes. But 105, it's unacceptable. It's an assault to a community, to neighbors. I don't want to detached townhomes in my neighborhood. This is already established neighborhood, not a new neighborhood. So this is unacceptable. And the traffic from this entrance on Moriah is exactly half a mile from. In the morning, it takes 15 minutes just to go up the hill to Breseton Highway, and kids' school 1.5 miles away. It's 25-30 minutes. And this same developer, he built a very high dense neighborhood just across the street, roughly about 150 homes, maybe just maybe at least 140. And the traffic is ridiculous. And part of the problem is 150 homes, high dense neighborhood, about that's 300 cars right there. And so many cars already cut into our neighborhood to go on Breseton Highway through the neighborhood because there's a traffic. 30 minutes, 15 minutes just to go to the traffic light. And I would ask not to allow this. This is already established first phase. It's not a new neighborhood. Many homeowners suggest different to make it separate neighborhood or to make a different entrance. That's gonna add 105 homes. That's gonna add about 200, at least 200 more cars to this traffic. That's just unacceptable. And so would like to keep the neighborhood as the houses and the lots the way it is right now, like equivalent to what it is right now, about 69 original lots. I think that's fair. Ideally, we would like maybe 35 Chateau homes but not 105 detached homes. And thank you very much for your time.
3 minutes and 6 seconds.
How much?
3 minutes and 6 seconds.
I don't need that much. My name is Debbie Miller. I live at 4324 Milford Place in Houston, Georgia, and I live in the Brentwood Place subdivision. I don't have any renderings. I don't have a planned speech. I'm gonna speak to you from my heart. And let me tell you something, sir. You have no.
Ma'am, would you please address us? Not-
This gentleman right here has no clue about traffic. I think I'm gonna speak for most of the people that are here. We don't want this. We don't need it. I spoke to you before about trying to get out of my neighborhood. I can't make a left-hand turn. I can't make a right-hand turn. I live in between Spout Springs and Mount Moriah. I don't care about homeowners' dues. I only care about the safety of trying to get in and out of my neighborhood. And for all of these people, you have an obligation to keep us safe. So I implore you to please vote no on this. Thank you.
1 minute and 53 seconds.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Heather Keister. I'm at 1780 Thomas Drive, so I am very close to this for about 5 years. So I've watched this property come up with the subdivision. It has, in the past 5 years, we have had subdivision after subdivision come in. It has, the traffic is insane. D. Kennedy and turning onto Broadstone Highway is insane. There has been so many accidents right there just by the amount of cars coming out. Just to get here, it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes just to get here. So I would 100% agree adding that much housing to this subdivision that already is putting so much on our infrastructure is going to just make this impossible out there. So please vote no.
Time?
We have 1 minute left.
I can do it. I'm Kate Whitten. I live at 5194 Sun Lake Drive. That's the Ashbury Park community up the way. Everybody's spoken very well on traffic. I myself have written the county to reach out and come, look at that, the Flowery Branch and the Brazelton Highway. It's a disaster. They basically wrote me back and said, it's just overloaded out here. But the one thing that nobody's spoken on are the schools. Mill Creek High School has over 2,700 students. The elementary school has over 1,500 students. Think about these babies and their education when they're packed in 25-year-olds in a kindergarten class. What a disaster. Think about, Gwinnett County's future, and they want to pride themselves on schools and property values, and just take into consideration how this impacts schools. Thanks.
Any time for your rebuttal?
Time left.
No, sir. I'm sorry.
I'd like to speak up. I've lived in, my name is Mark Hendrick.
Yeah, no, that was the last bit of time. There's only 1 minute and 6 seconds left.
Nobody brought up emergency vehicles. Our roads are terrible now. We can't it takes 30 minutes to get from my house on Thomas Drive to Hamilton Mill. 5 minutes means a lot if you have emergency. And we don't need all that. Too much.
Sir, before you leave, can you please give us your name and address, and then we'll bring a little bit back to order. So there's about 2 minutes. What was the last thing of rebuttal time that was left? Okay, so 1:30.
Okay.
But please give us your name and address before you leave, so we can get it for the record.
Thank you. I'll try to hit as many of these points as I can in this remaining 2 minutes. I think one of the speakers talked about irresponsible development. I couldn't disagree more. I don't know of a more responsible way to continue development. This isn't a new subdivision. This isn't a greenfield. This is a previously developed parcel that had smaller buffers and less green space in the previous plan. The plan that you see before you has more green space, more buffers, and is even more environmentally friendly than the previous plan. So I'm not sure what the definition of responsible development is to some folks, but to me, this is it. And so I would ask you to consider that as you vote. I know folks are emotional about the traffic and about the roadways, but we're here to talk about land use and the best land use for this parcel and what's best for this community. Traffic can be considered, you know, there are other boards and other entities that deal with streets, highways, roadways. You know, I understand that, I sympathize with that. I work here, I travel these roads back and forth every day. But I would say this is what I think about when I think about responsible development. I think it was mentioned that we're adding 105 lots. I just want to clarify, we're not adding 105 lots. It's 36 additional lots. In the traffic study report, I know we probably don't have time, but somebody mentioned hundreds of new trips. It's 26 in the morning and 34 in the evening.
That's the added bubble top.
All right. Is this the time when I can ask any questions? Okay.
We can move into discussion.
Okay, moving to discussion.
And then that's when you can ask
And then I can
questions,
ask
and you can ask
at that point.
questions of
Okay.
staff or the applicant.
So I'm gonna make a motion at this point to close the public comment period. Can I get a second? All right, all those in favor of closing the public comment period, say aye.
I'm sorry,
Any opposed?
we just need to, we need to be able to hear it for the record. So if you have any questions, talk about it afterwards, about the process or anything like that, but we just need to make sure we move forward.
Right, so all those in favor of closing the public comment period, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to that motion to close the public comment period? It passes 4-0. All right, we'll have, I want to make a motion to open the discussion period amongst the commissioners. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Hart. All those in favor of opening the discussion period, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right. All right, I got a couple of questions for yourself. Are there any material changes from what you submitted last month when you requested a tabling?
No, sir.
Okay. Was there any meetings or anything to address any of the concerns that we had from a material perspective?
We did have meetings, not only among our staff to talk about everything and talk about the results of the meeting at our last meeting last month. We also organized a homeowners association meeting of our existing residents to further discuss the matter and sort of dig into it a little more. We did have that meeting. Several things came up in the meeting. We still have to flesh those things out. There were questions in that meeting. My takeaway from that meeting was the majority of the community is in favor of development, favor of completing their neighborhood and bringing it to fruition so that eventually it can be turned over and they can be in control of their own destiny, their own neighborhoods. Not to mention the fact that, you know, their dues are more than they should be. If we don't move forward with some type of development, their dues are going to double again, you know, from what they are now because they've been in deficit. So we talked a lot about that. And look, we understand that everybody has mixed emotions, and one of the homeowners at the meeting probably said it best, that, you know, we understand it needs to be developed for our own benefit. This was him speaking.
So you should really just answer his questions and we can't have additional comments, just.
I'm sorry, I
just
thought
so
it
you
Well,
know.
to that point, you mentioned the word, when you were explaining is financially viable.
Yes, sir.
Is to make this parcel financially viable. Can you expand briefly on what you mean by financially viable and to who it means financially viable?
Entities, to the developer and also to the existing homeowners association, right?
Meaning what?
Both entities need the density to make it work. The developer, we need the density in order to make the economics to develop it at all. The HOA needs the density in order to make their HOA functional, right? Both entities need it.
So I would make a distinction that one needs it and one doesn't.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I don't have questions. I think just my comment to us is, you know, this is an existing community. It was R100. To complete community, it really should stay R100, you know, so it seems like.
If
We have to let them chat.
we could just talk through this, understand.
So we're not really talking, you know, we're really talking about changing the neighborhood, and, you know, it seems like you've already got a neighborhood that's R100, so.
Right.
I guess the question that I have is, so the only meeting that's occurred since our last planning committee meeting last month was with the with the homeowners in that neighborhood. There hasn't been any interview meetings?
No, ma'am. And I would also, say one is partially R100 modified.
Yeah. My concerns are several. The biggest being is just not in line with the UDO, and OSC and 40-foot lots, are below what OSC standards are. The biggest being, it just doesn't line up and is not a recommended piece of the UDO.
No comment.
No comment? All right. If there's no further comment, I move to recommend denial of RZR 2025-10-1676. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, second. All those in favor of denial? RZR 2025-10-1676, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
So this item will be heard at the mayor and council meeting on January 15th, 2026, and that will be a public hearing. So additional public comment can be provided. It'll be in this building at 6:30 p.m.
6:30 January 8th, this case will be reheard again.
Chairman, do you want to give an opportunity for people to exit if they wish?
Yeah, if you were here for those two particular orders of business, you can leave if you'd like, or you can stay.
Yeah, we have one more agenda item, so if you do choose to leave, please move outside and out of this area so we can continue with the next item.
No, I'm sorry.
All right, we will now move.
Let's give it a second.
Give it a second.
Give it a second to get ready.
Okay, my voice would move.
You can't hear. But you can't hear back here what you're saying.
We will look into that for future meetings, but at this point in time, we need anyone who's choosing to leave to go ahead and exit so we can continue business.
Megaphone.
And I have questions, and I didn't allow that.
What's it about? Bailey Road. Here is Jamie's card right now, and he's the city manager. If you reach out to him, he will connect you with me.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna move on to the next order of business.
Keep going.
We're moving on to new business. Our first item of new business is as follows: a change in conditions, CIC 2025-07-1362. A change in conditions request to modify condition 2 from previous rezoning to allow for a total of 4 lots. Staff, I'll now ask you to present the staff analysis and recommendations.
Chairman, thank you. As you said, this is our first order of new business, and it's a request to modify conditions of zoning that were placed on the property by Gwinnett County. This property, let me make sure I'm on the right one, excuse me. Can we close the door? This property was approved by Gwinnett County as part of case RZR 2021-00029. As part of that request, it was conditioned with 6 different conditions. The first being that the development shall be in conformity with Exhibit A, which was the site plan submitted with the application. And condition number 2, that it be limited to single-family detached dwellings and accessory uses and structures not to exceed 3 lots. The applicant before you has come to request to further subdivide the property and create 4 lots. Jamie, if you'll move on to the next slide. There will be an the existing tract on the far right was part of the original request. That has been subdivided and it is in a different ownership. And then tracts 3, 2, and 1 are how this will be subdivided to create the 3 additional lots. The biggest change is going to be that there is a slight reduction in tract 3, I believe, and a reduction in tract 1. Tract 1 was a much larger lot. Staff did recommend approval of this request as the minimum lot size and lot width, setbacks, everything meet the minimum district standards for the R75 district. We recommended approval that it not be further subdivided, so it be in conformity with this submitted site plan, that'll be limited to the 4 lots, the 3 new ones, and that the previous conditions of zoning by Gwinnett County, 3, 4, 5, and 6 shall remain in effect. Yeah, do you have any questions?
So does this, so I guess my question is, you know, with some movement of the lines, does it still meet all of the lot requirements?
It does.
That's the.
Mm-hmm.
And how much lot lines being moved in that to make track 2 a little bigger?
Let me change his just because I didn't include the original. I apologize. This was the original site plan submitted. So you'll see the main differences are to lots 1 and 2. There's been of those lines to accommodate a new lot 2 in between the 2.
Right.
And then lot 3 is existing and remains as is. And that is included in the packet towards the very end. It's the last couple of pages.
Okay.
So you took a little bit from both.
Yes.
Those to get that one.
Correct. If no one else has any other questions for
I
me,
don't
we
think
can.
anything of you, yeah.
Okay, we can open the public hearing and start with the applicant presentation.
Okay, now I make a motion to open the public comment period. Do I have a second?
Excuse me, yes, public comment. I apologize. I misspoke.
Say it again.
I called it a public hearing, but it is a public comment. My apologies.
Yeah, I make a motion to open the public comment period. I got a second from Commissioner O'Rear. All those in favor of opening the public comment period, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, so I would like to hear, from the applicant and, all those in favor?
Good evening, my name is Scott Smith, I'm the applicant for the owner. What we're doing is, as she clearly said, we're trying to create one more lot. The original rezoning was from a different owner. This owner has come in and we said that he didn't maximize the zoning, so we were able to get one more lot. It's R75. We're not asking for any change in conditions other than that, and it meets all of the zoning code as set forth in the code. So that's really all we're trying to do. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. The owner is actually wanting to build his personal home on lot 1, so it's something he's gonna be part of.
How are these houses being, like, where are the houses, like, what way, are they going towards the back of these, or?
The lot 1 will be in the very back, yes,
Okay.
and the lot 2 will be toward the front. It would be very close to the one on the right.
So 2 would be up on the front?
Yeah, that's an older home. It's an older, I think it's a brick home. Okay. Yeah, it's an older home, so, yeah, it'll be pretty close to, as far as street level up there with that.
Okay.
Does anybody else, wish to speak in favor of the, changing conditions? Anybody here in opposition of, the change of conditions, please, come forward to the podium. All right, seeing none, I'm gonna make a motion to close the public comment section. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, from Commissioner Atkins. All those in favor of closing the public comment section, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, I now would like to open up, the discussion period for the commissioners. Can I get a second? Well, I make a motion to open up the discussion period for the commissioners. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor of opening the discussion section, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 4-0. Any discussion? Any concerns?
I mean, this is just down the street from me. I mean, I know the lot. You know, my biggest concern was just looking and actually seeing the map. When I looked at it the first time, I didn't see how that piece is right on the side, so if that makes sense.
And it's R75 meets the size requirements. It's contiguous with the area. It's not gonna change the face of the area. Anybody have anything else? Any concern?
All right,
Excuse me, we're still trying to finish our meeting in
do
here?
we need to close the?
Oh, I do need a second, sorry. I make a motion to close the discussion period. Commissioners, can I get a second? Commissioner Alexander, second. All those in favor? Closing the period, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, I will move to recommend approval of CIC -202.07.1362 with the conditions. With the conditions in the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I second. All right,
All those in favor? Say aye. Aye.
any opposed?
Any opposed?
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, there is no more new business on the agenda. Staff, are there any announcements?
The next meeting will be on January 20th, 2026. And just to note, this is a change. It is the third Tuesday of the month
What date
going
is it?
forward, no longer the 4th, which we are at today.
What date is that?
The 20th of January. You will have your postponed case from earlier today, and I believe there is at least one other item. But we will get that packet to you a week in advance and look forward to seeing you here in the new year.
Wonderful.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Thank you. All right, I want to thank staff and everybody at the city of Mulberry for your hard work and all your efforts in doing this, and for our community's grace, and as we go through this process. Commissioners, that concludes our business for this meeting. I will now make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, Commissioner O'Rear is a second. All those in favor of adjourning our meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.